Weed Studios, this is the New York Giants 2021 win-loss projection video from the Sportsocracy. As always, we're brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio, joined by Tommy Bradley to tell you what we think about Chris Farley Jr., Brian Haynes, and his New York Giants. I look at this team a little differently than a lot of people do. I think the team around Daniel Jones is really good. I just don't like Daniel Jones at all. What say you, Mr. Bradley?
I think you're 100% correct. A lot of it's going to depend on Gumby himself, Mr. Daniel Jones, Mr. Duke football. I think, it's hard to go against Saquon Barkley, the rookie year that he had. If he stays healthy, I think they're going to have a decent run game. But with that offensive line, we know that Brian was not happy about not taking a tackle in the first round. I do like Kadarius Toney. I don't know if I like him at 20th overall in the draft. Tough break on not being able to get his cleat size right for the first day of practice.
Yeah, get this man some shoes that fit.
That's not a good sign. Not a good start either.
Not a good start.
But, they do have Kelvin Benjamin coming in to audition as tight end, so that could really turn that team around. We know
Fat Kelvin Benjamin.
Fat Kelvin Benjamin. He's notoriously a great team guy. Shout out to Cam Newton. But honestly, I had him at 6-11 this year, and that was largely for Brian's blood pressure. I didn't want to put them below 5 wins. I do think they've got some talent on that team, and there's just always been so much parity in the East. With as many wins as I have Washington having, I had to, take some wins somewhere, and, I don't have the Eagles with a great record, but I also don't have the Giants with a great record. At 6-11, that's honestly probably being a little generous.
For those of you that don't remember Kelvin Benjamin, Buffalo Bill has a message for you.
Oh, wait. Was he a great big fat person?
He was a great big fat person. And we covered him here for the Carolina Panthers, and I'll go ahead and tell you, that's a story that just made me laugh. However, when the schedule came out, it was very obvious to me that the most important part of the schedule to me is the first 4 weeks. You better be 3-1. You're not going to go to Washington and beat Washington. But I think you can beat the Broncos. I think you can beat the Falcons, both those games in New York. I think you can go to New Orleans and beat the Saints. The problem is then the schedule goes to hell in a hearse. At the Cowboys, Rams, Panthers, at the Chiefs, Raiders, at the Buccaneers. And then you get a little layoff with the Dolphins, at the Chargers, at the Dolphins, at the Chargers, Cowboys again. And then you finish off with 2 winnable games in the Washington football team, who might be resting players at the end of the season. At the Eagles, at the Bears, Washington football team. I just don't think you were given any breaks with the schedule. I actually like the talent on this team. I just don't think Daniel Jones is the right point guy. Right. And so, for me, I think he got screwed by the schedule. I think this is the make or break year for Daniel Jones. And this is probably the last year that you have to watch him, because I would say they move on after this year, seeing that he is not the answer for the future. And to me, even a Ryan Fitzpatrick level answer would have this team in that 8-9, 9-8, 7-10, 10-7 range. But first of all, I'll put yours up there. You've got the Giants at 6-11, finishing third in the NFC East, 2 games behind the Dallas Cowboys. I conversely have them 7-10. I do think they can get to. I've got them on the high side or on the low side of that mediocrity 7, 8, 9, 10 win tier. But I think they do have a lot of pieces going forward. I think this will be a growing year where you can look at the team and say, well, at least we're getting better. But in my opinion, there is absolutely no way that they contend for the playoffs. I don't think they even threaten for the playoffs. I hate to say that to Giants fans.
How long do you have for Dave Gettleman's job?
I would have said this past offseason, so at this point he's living on borrowed time.
I feel like him and Daniel Jones are attached. I feel like
I do too. And I said it when he drafted him. You're now stuck with this guy. You took him way ahead of where any of us in the draft community would have had him, and now you're tied to him. So if this does not go well, and trust me, I've been wrong before. I see the natural talent in Daniel Jones. The problem is that I don't think you've fixed the line to the appropriate point. I would have much preferred that Kadarius Toney pick be somebody like Tevin Jenkins that would have improved that line. Open up some holes for Saquon Barkley. You didn't really do that. However, you did have one of my favorite picks of the draft with Azeez Ojulari in the second round. So you do have young pieces that you can be excited about.
The next GM's going to really love this.
Oh, yeah, because you're going to have 2 first-round picks next year, and it's going to be tremendous. And one of them's going to be from the Bears, and they suck. See, not all the things I said about the Giants were bad. This has been the Giants 2021 NFL win-loss projection video from the Sportsocracy. As always, we're brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing. Visit our friends at Wicked Weed Brewing at wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different.